It is Monday, March 18th in the United States of America. It is What Chaos. My name is DJ Bean, a.k.a. Flu Lamarillo. To my left is Pete Blackburn, and right over there is Sean DePaz. Hi, everybody.
Hello, DJ.
Howdy,
sorry about your flu. Your
that's
flu's
okay.
Designation.
Oh, that's all right. How was everybody's U.S. St. Patty's Day?
It was fine. I had corned beef and cabbage with Ellen's family. Cabbage got to be the worst food at going. Just the most. Even Irish people don't like cabbage. We sat down at the table. We started to eat corned beef and cabbage. I got outed for saying, like, before going there, Ellen threw me under the bus, was like, Pete doesn't even like corned beef and cabbage. I said, that's not true. I love corned beef. I don't like cabbage. And everybody at the table said, nobody likes cabbage. So why the fuck are we doing this?
I was going to say, if you're claiming to like cabbage, you're just lying.
It's very Irish behavior to say, this is the thing we don't like, but it's just part of the thing, so I guess we'll do it.
Yeah.
I have so much educating I could do on the Irish. I'm not going to. I learned yesterday that today's evacuation day. It's a completely different holiday in Boston.
What's evacuation day?
You guys don't. I figured it was like common knowledge here.
It's like when the Irish had to evacuate somewhere, right?
No, evacuation day here is when the British troops left.
Okay,
were forced to evacuate Boston after the siege of Boston, like early in the Revolutionary War, and then Bostonians were like, "Oh, we want a holiday for it. Let's put it on St. Patrick's Day, so we get a day off." So like in a lot of like schools and stuff are closed in Boston and Somerville and stuff like that because it is a holiday.
That's pretty Boston-y behavior.
I know. I respect it.
Of the St. Patty's Day, let's say, celebrations or pageantry, hockey-wise, the only one that really grabbed me was the Leafs when they do the St. Pat's thing. I think generally, I used to get so mad. Every year, the Bruins would do the warm-up jerseys with the St. Patrick. They all the teams would do the green jerseys, and they would just put O at the beginning of all their players' names. So they would have like O Chara, O Thomas, O Krejci, and I would be infuriated. I never got an answer on this. They would do O Bergeron when Patrice Bergeron's real name is Patrice Bergeron Cleary. He has an Irish last name, and they would still just do O Bergeron, probably because they thought that fans would be more likely to buy an O Bergeron jersey, but it infuriated me. How do you like all the Irish grab ass in hockey?
I mean, like it's slop, right? It's as much of slop as cabbage is, where it's stupid and it's dumb, but Irish people will just fucking gobble it all up. Those Irish jerseys sell like hotcakes to the Irish Bruins fans, of which there are many. So I understand why they do it. They're stupid. They're all stupid. The Leafs one though, I'm usually not like a big fan of the Leafs St. Pat's Day uniforms. The ones that they had this year were different than the previous ones. The ones this year are pretty good. I like they actually incorporate the clover on the front of the jersey. I liked this year's jerseys.
I loved the Shamrock. The Shamrock was they were really good this year in my opinion, and I hate the Leafs.
Same.
Okay, well, I hate the Sabres because we last left off very excited discussing this run that the Sabres were making. Even though the Sabres weren't playing that well, they were finding themselves within striking distance of the playoffs. Pete was back on the side of, I have believed in the Leafs, in the Sabres every step of the way. All you jumped ship, not me. They're making the playoffs. Sean was cautiously optimistic. I was like, we need this. Let's get the Sabres in the playoffs. We had just rooted for, I believe, the Oilers to beat the Capitals, and the Oilers did it. They smoked the Capitals. Next, we needed the Coyotes to beat the Red Wings, which was a little less likely. And god dang it, on Thursday, the Coyotes did it. They were setting up the Sabres to make this run we needed them to make. And then on Saturday, in a must-win, gotta-have-it matinee against the Red Wings, who had lost 7 straight games, the Sabres died like a dog. They were horrible. They get a 1-goal lead, and they were just so soft down low. It was very, very upsetting to watch. Where are you on the Sabres now, Pete?
Doesn't sound like the Sabres I know, being soft down low, losing in a big game when the lights are bright. Doesn't sound like the Buffalo Sabres. No, I mean, like, they are who we thought they were. It's the Sabres. If you get up for the Buffalo Sabres, you have what you have coming to you. And I say that as somebody who got up for the Buffalo Sabres. When they lost to the Red Wings on Saturday afternoon, I came away being extremely disappointed, but extremely well, of course they fucking lost this game. Of course they did. They're the Sabres. And not only did they lose, they lost in the most pathetic fashion. They didn't even show up. The last 40 minutes you said it in the text chain, the last 40 minutes of that game were fucking pathetic. And it goes back to the big problem that the Sabres have faced for a large portion of the past couple of years. There's no consistency there. They can string together 3-4 straight wins, even if they're close wins, and then they'll lose 3 or 4 in a row, and they'll lose games that they absolutely need. And they just love making it interesting down the stretch and then falling apart when they need to win the games that they need to win.
I was very, 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 very deeply annoyed because now the Sabres have been surpassed by the Penguins. They're now 6th in the wild card, 6 points out. Sean with the beautiful playoff picture. I mean, it is not looking good even at all. You could see right there that Detroit technically has the lead in points over the Capitals, but even the Capitals are alive. The Penguins are alive. It is a lot of teams, and right now the Sabres would need to jump 4 of them with 14 games remaining in order to make the playoffs.
Yeah, it's super unlikely, but the thing that they have going for them is that all of those teams are garbage, including the Sabres. The Eastern Conference wildcard race right now is a fucking mid-off. It is crazy. All of those teams stink. Sean made the point, they only lost 1 game. There's a chance in 2 days we could be back talking about the Sabres making the playoffs again. And I think that's true, but they absolutely needed to win that game against the Red Wings because it's direct competition for that wild card chase. And obviously the Wings are playing terrible right now because Dylan Larkin's not in the lineup. But when you look at the Sabres' remaining schedule, it's kind of a gauntlet. This week, they're on a West Coast road trip. They have the Kraken tonight. They have the Canucks. They have the Oilers. And then they have the Flames. All those teams on the West Coast road trip this week. Then they come back. They play the Senators. That should be a winnable game. They play the Devils. That could be a winnable game. But then they have the Maple Leafs, the Capitals, the Flyers, the Red Wings, the Stars, the Capitals again, the Panthers, and then the Lightning to close out the season. So they've got a lot of good teams coming down the stretch here, with a few against teams that they're going to be in the mix against with the wild card. So there's a chance, but they're going to have to fucking earn their spot, and I just don't see them doing it.
You know who I think has the easiest road?
Who?
The team that technically by points percentage is the number holds down that wild card spot right now. The Washington Capitals. They beat the Canucks in Vancouver on Saturday. They've won 2 straight, which for this group of assholes is very impressive. By points percentage, they'd have the second one.
Can I stop you? Can I stop you? The Capitals are not assholes. They're just so uninteresting. They're not assholes.
They're assholes.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the Washington Capitals. They're just fucking old and uninteresting.
So they're bad then. Maybe they're not assholes.
Yeah, right. That's essentially what I'm getting at.
Okay. This becomes a whole new thing. Can bad teams be assholes? Or do you just have is it like the US Embassy? They're off limits.
No. Bad teams can definitely be assholes, but not every bad team is an asshole team.
I agree with that. And I would say that, I guess I called the Capitals assholes in these useless assholes.
Yeah. I agree they're useless. I have no time for them.
by points percentage, they'd have the second wild card spot and make the playoffs if the season ended today. I said they have an easy path. They finished their Western road trip tonight versus the Flames. We'll get to the slate grade later. And then they have 4 straight home games. So if they want to, they can get moving here and solidify themselves as being in the driver's seat. I would like to remind folks of a conversation that the three of us had. I've included a little back and forth that Sean and I had. But let's just say, for what little you might hear of Pete was right in my pocket on this. Big time agree on the Capitals. Here was our assessment of them like 4 days ago.
The Capitals making the playoffs would be the most get this team
Oh
out of my
God.
fucking face team in my sporting existence.
I would be so in on it.
What?
Only
my
because
God.
like most of the teams in the Eastern Conference I hate. It would be awesome to watch either the Leafs or the Bruins like have their dreams crushed by the Washington fucking Capitals.
But Shaw, that's the thing. They could only disrupt by being there. They would dash nobody's hopes. They would be food. The Capitals would be
Yeah.
such fucking
And-
food.
I mean, I didn't say much there, but I think my reactions to a couple of the things that were said say everything that needs to be said. Me, like, agreeing with you with the Capitals, and then Sean being like, I would root for him, and my outright disgust at him showing support for the Caps.
Yeah,
I'm
I
all
think
in on
we
the
do.
Caps.
I think we do have to revisit, though, Sean's point on being all in on the Caps. If they make the playoffs, can they be disruptors? We wrote them off immediately as if they get there, that's all the fun we get out of them because they're not going to win. They're going to get fucking steamrolled by whoever they play. If they get a little head of steam here, take advantage of, let's say, Flames tonight. This, I want to say 5 of 6 are at home too after this. Can they field themselves, get a little momentum, even get a little do it for Ovi?
No.
I can't take them
You're not going
seriously.
to trick me
I can't
into
take them
believing in the
seriously.
Washington Capitals.
Yeah, me
They're
neither.
not good at anything. You look at you run down the list of like their 5-on-5 ranks or their ranks as a team. 29th in goals for, 27th in expected goals for, 28th in Corsi for, 23rd in power play goals, 28th in finishing, 22nd in goals against, 23rd in expected goals against, 23rd in Corsi against, 19th in PK, 20th in goaltending. They don't rank above 19th in any category on the board. Nothing. That's horrendous. That team should not be anywhere near a playoff discussion.
Sean, what do you say for your boys?
All I can think is that like if you're a Bruins fan, because right now, I mean, obviously the points percentage makes things weird, but like right now, the Boston is the 1 seed in the East.
Roof of the
You're-
Cap's so bad.
Oh, you're telling me that there's like I've heard how Boston fans have talked about this team and they treat the Bruins like they're a borderline playoff team as if they don't have the most points in the NHL or up there, but like. If Bruins fans are going to be nervous, and I understandably so, like there's no winning for the Bruins in that situation if they end up playing a team with the Capitals. And DJ mentioned the do it for Ovi thing. If I'm a Bruins fan and I see the Capitals, I get nervous because they're like the Bruins.
No way.
It just seems like there's no winning for the Bruins, and if they somehow lose that series, which I feel like a lot of Bruins fans think they might, because again, Bruins fans talk about the Bruins like they're a bad hockey team. I'd be here for it. It'd be a lot of fun.
No way.
John has
I mean,
picked up the Boston vibes so well. I'll finish that after, but go ahead, Pete.
I was gonna say, like, the Bruins and Bruins fans should be nervous about no matter who they get in the first round, just based off of just a general vibe check.
Yeah, exactly.
But the Capitals, if we're ranking teams that I would be worried about as a number 1 seed, the Capitals are like maybe last, maybe
Which is why you should
second to
be
last. No,
Yeah.
like the. All right, so let's look at the teams that are in the wild card race right now, like with the second wild card and then the 3 below them. You got the Red Wings, the Capitals, the Islanders, the Penguins, and then I guess if you want to throw the Sabres in there, you can. If you're power ranking those teams as to who you would be worried about as a number 1 seed, who would worry you the most?
Red Wings.
It's an easy number 1 for me.
Red Wings.
The Red Wings. The Red Wings have proven that they are a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde team this season, where when they're very good, they're awesome. And they play with like a really high intensity. They play with a lot of speed. I think that they could give some teams some tough matchups there. Beyond that, I think it's a mid-off. But like, obviously the Red Wings are really bad recently, especially without Dylan Larkin in the lineup. But if they get hot at the right time, I think they could cause problems.
I want to make it clear, for no reason, no actual hockey reason, do I think Bruins fans should be worried about the Washington Capitals. Like, I don't think the Washington Capitals are a good hockey team. I just feel like for that reason is why Bruins fans should be worried, because there's no reason that the Capitals should win that series. And
you're just saying that the Bruins fans should be nervous because they're fucking chokers.
No
matter what the opponent is.
That's what I was going to say. Bruins fans are never going to be cocky ever again. And they're Bobos for sure.
That's not true.
Maybe even another word that Pete uses. I don't use. Pete uses hate speech on himself. But they're Bobos for sure, but they're definitely not cocky. They don't have fingernails. They chew right through them. They freak out at the possibility of playing any team, good team, bad team, whatever. If they were cocky going into last year against the Panthers, which they should have been, they were the best team in the history of the NHL. They will never be cocky again. So Sean,
they will be cocky again, but that PTSD lasts for at least 1 year.
All you have to do though is give the Bruins, if Bruins fans see that they're playing the Capitals, all they need to see is that Ovechkin is still there. And if there is like one Russian player whose name they can't pronounce, they're going to be like, oh, no, like, got to watch out for that guy. And they'll be horrified.
And there's
I just know how Bruins fans think.
Remember what TJ Oshie did in the Olympics, because that still gets brought up every time he's on camera.
Every time. He had his 1,000th game over the weekend, and it was a nice little celebration. And
they should have ceremoniously let him take 1 million shootout turns.
Yes. I made this comparison last week. I could totally see Ovi being in a Jimmy Butler stage of his career where he's not doing this shit unless it matters. He's not trying unless it counts. And then he gets to the playoffs.
He's got the goal chase, man. He's got to be trying.
Yeah, true. But the goal chase, you could argue they might not really be playing great hockey in the name of trying to get him goals. Gets to the playoffs. If he decides, I kind of want to win another cup, he is still the greatest goal scorer of all time. So,
could you apply that same logic to the Penguins though, where Sid has some like, you know what, you motherfuckers are sleeping on this season that I'm having, and I do have some old friends who have had some great careers, and we're going to kick it into high gear. We held on to reigning Stanley Cup champion Riley Smith. Say what you want about him, guy knows how to win. Let's go, boys. Any belief there?
I feel like that we've been burying the lead a little bit with like the Penguins being in this discussion after how much we've talked about the Penguins just being an embarrassment to the NHL over like the past 2 months. And it's crazy. Like the fact that team's in the discussion. This is for like, I feel so validated after how much we've talked about like the Eastern Conference just being dog shit beyond like 2 teams at the top. The fact that we're having this discussion and then talking about the playoff picture with these fucking teams that we've been humiliating all year long, it's awful.
Should we do Egg Watch, where we
laid an
get
egg?
Some renderings of our faces and just apply various amounts to egg?
I thought you were going to say Egg Watch, like the shitty teams on the Eastern Conference bubble just laying eggs when they need games. The Sabres would have gotten an egg over the weekend.
No, we could do some Humpty Dumpty Watch. You know I'm always down to break down that whole nonsense bullshit story where they have horses try to build an egg. Stupidest task I've ever heard of in my life. But
I've never thought of that.
Yeah, Humpty Dumpty. The story of Humpty Dumpty makes
really?
sense.
I feel like I've brought it up probably too many times on this show. Maybe I did it on brunch or
on brunch.
I don't think you've ever brought it up on this show. All the King's horses and all the King's men.
Why the hell are they?
It is the craziest thing in the world that they tasked horses with reconstructing Humpty Dumpty and then determined, because horses couldn't do it, Humpty Dumpty can't be put back together.
To be fair, they say all the King's horses and all the King's men.
But
so
why are the horses involved?
Well,
I would imagine the horses are fucking up the efforts of the men.
Yeah,
And
That's
not to mention, if the men aren't like surgeons or doctors, you're employing the wrong men.
Dude,
There
would
are
you
a lot
want?
of men and they're stupid and they can't put shit
Would you
together.
want a surgeon for something like that, or would you want like a master puzzle doer thing? Because
what does
Either
the
one.
surgeon do at the end? What does the surgeon do at the end, Sean?
He puts them together.
he
Sew me
stitches.
back up.
But
Sew
you,
me
you
up.
can't sew an egg. It's a hard shell. You need like
And-
a glass maker or something like
To
that.
Pete's point, they lead with all the king's horses. So the horses are going to get in there, clump around, smash him up probably
Walk
10
out,
times more. And they
all
say,
yours.
okay, the horses couldn't do it. Now let's try the men. The men walk in. It is way more difficult to task because now there's 1,000 more Humpty Dumpty pieces. They're like, how about you, men? Can you do it? And they're like, sorry, guys, can't do this. So then they determine horses can't do it, men can't do it. If you started with the men, I think they probably would have been able to get some frog tape and figure it out.
I think that's probably true.
Fair enough.
Meanwhile, Humpty Dumpty dying on the ground, being like, "Get me a doctor."
Yeah, could you imagine being like, you've fallen off the wall, broken into a bunch of pieces, and they're like, help is on the way, and then a fucking horse pulls up, and they're like, let's get to it. You start saying your prayers at that point.
You're like,
Also-
oh, fuck it, damn it, it's a horse. Wait, there's more things coming. What is that? Oh, it's all the king's horses. It's just an entire group of horses.
Also, like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Humpty Dumpty should not have been sitting on that wall.
Yeah, if you're an egg, you think you'd move about
Stay
life
close,
a little safer.
stay close to the ground, brother.
Do we know though? Could it have been a nice guys situation? Could they then go back to the wall, find signs of a struggle? Maybe Humpty Dumpty was pushed.
It was a hit.
Yeah,
Maybe, I mean, it's why were the horses there first?
Oh well, here's a
Did the
conspiracy-
horses have something to
Here's
do with
a
it?
conspiracy theory. Humpty Dumpty was got by the king, and the king said, "Well, no, it wasn't me. I tried to help him. I sent the horses in.
I put my
And
best
then-
horses
and
on
then
this.
I sent my best horses, and I sent my best men. And they said, "Your best men? Why didn't you send them to a doctor?"
I love the idea that the men showed up and the horses were just already there. They're like, I don't know what happened. We tried our hardest.
The men arrived on foot, and they found all the horses there.
And they were like,
What
this
the fuck?
seems a little suspicious, but we'll take your word for it.
Okay, I am so glad that we almost missed an opportunity. I assumed that I had that we'd had the Humpty Dumpty conversation with Sean at some point. We hadn't. I'm very glad that we were able to get that in there because it would have been a missed opportunity if we were never able to break it down with Sean, because Sean is just the kind of guy for that kind of
Chat-
breakdown.
This
Chad
is an
is
interesting
saying-
point. Yeah.
Chat's saying that Humpty Dumpty is not an egg.
And nowhere in the story does it actually say that he's an egg. And that
I've seen-
sounds true. Like, I've
Maybe,
only
but
ever
I've
seen
seen
it.
the
Like,
renderings.
pictures.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the pictures get assigned to it like afterwards. Like, it does not actually say anywhere in the story
I
that
mean,
he's an egg.
if you ask anybody what Humpty Dumpty is,
Well, I
think
agree.
they'll say that he's an egg.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's true.
This is fascinating to me.
Per Wikipedia.com, he is typically portrayed as an anthropomorphic egg, though he is not explicitly described as such. So we're in a real drawing egg situation. Which came first?
Maybe it was a horse, and that's why the horses were sent. Horse fell off. Horse broke into pieces. They're like, who's best to figure this one out? Fellow
Well,
horses.
you know, be fucked and gross. What if he was a horse egg? You know how horses, you know how
Famously lay
horses
eggs.
lay eggs? Yeah, he was a horse egg, and they're all there mashing him up. That's my impression of the horses trying to fix Humpty Dumpty. They're like, "Oh, I know what to do."
The idea
just-
of a horse trying to fix anything is fucking hilarious. Those
That-
things don't have any control over like they don't have any like controlled movements other than when they're being like somebody's riding them.
That story has driven me crazy my entire life. I have never been able to move past the first mention of horses. There should not be horses in that story. There's so many other things you could use. So that's that. I do like this little conversation, though, about Humpty Dumpty. No, just kidding. I do like this little conversation, though, about these kind of a-holy bum me type teams that are going to get one of these wild card spots. I think that ultimately the most deserving would be the Red Wings. The Red Wings have taken that next step. They are the best of the teams, but it would be fun. I don't know, like I wouldn't hate, this sounds crazy, I wouldn't hate if the Penguins got in there.
Same. Like, I think there'd be intrigue with the Penguins more than maybe the Capitals, or like if we're not getting the Sabres, I would take the Penguins because you're still getting Sidney Crosby, you're still getting Malkin, you're still getting Letang, Carlson, Tristan Jarry's having a great year. Like, the top of their lineup is exciting and can take over games. It's just the depth that it's like it's going to kill them. But like, at least they would provide some intrigue in the first round. Like, the Islanders and the Capitals just don't really move it for me.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm very, very sad because tonight I was planning on going to the Boston Celtics game. And if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe, like, do all those things. Pete will call for a like spike in just a little bit. But if you want to shoot your wad, I ain't telling. I'm not in studio. I'm remote. I can't be around people because I got this dang flu Lamarillo and it is driving me nuts. I was going to go to the Celtics game with, get this, my boys. You ever done this, Pete? You get your boys and you go to a game?
Yeah, I mean, famously, I'm going with my boys, the Hockey East final, or
right,
semifinal and final over the weekend. Me, Sean, and our pal Jeff. The field is set. I'm very excited about the field. You got BC, you got BU, you got UMass, and you got Maine.
Go Bears.
Those might be the 4 best fan bases in all of New England for the Hockey East. And we get to see them all this weekend, and I'm very excited about it.
I'm really upset because I'm out of town this weekend with my boys, and I can't go to the Hockey East. I thought for weeks this was finally going to be the year that I was able to attend it, but I can't. And now I'm not one of your boys anymore. I can't go to the Celtics game with my boys. I am just all out of luck. But the second I am healthy, tell you what I'm doing. Game time. I am saying, get me to a match. I got to see my Celtics. I got to see your Bruins. I've been able to see, God bless it, I don't know what luck we've had. I've been able to see Connor McDavid twice live this year. Crazy. The fortune that we have had. And
baseball's
it's all
back next week.
Baseball, the action on the dirt is getting sprayed, as they say. They're gonna
Pete flipped me off. Is that because you're just not excited about the Boston Red Sox?
He's saying stay on topic, Sean. We're trying to
yeah. I'm not gonna think about baseball until the second that hockey ends. I'm so deep in the hockey game. It's crazy. Not to flex.
Big hockey guy over here.
So deep in the hockey game, in fact, that Pete is using Game Time.
I'm using Game Time to buy up all the baseball tickets so you fucking idiots can't have them.
That's great.
I'm tanking baseball.
Thankfully, Red Sox tickets are incredibly cheap on Game Time because the team sucks.
Who would have thought?
Sean is just making this tank time. He's just... Sean, we're trying to promote Game Time here.
I mean, I'm going to baseball games. I don't care if it's 2 bad teams. I was literally texting my friends about this. Going to baseball games, nice weather, beer, hot dog is like, that's how I want to die. And it'll be much easier to die like that thanks to Game Time.
Lil, I don't know if we've told you this, but like a big staple of me and DJ's friendship is during the playoffs when the Red Sox play like weekday home games and we're a little burnt out on hockey. We'll just go to a day game for the Red Sox. I don't know if we'll be able to do that now doing the show, but like if the opportunity presents itself, I might do it.
Literally, like my favorite experience in the world is day baseball.
It's the best.
Pete, I knew where you were going with that. You know the goosebumps come from like an expectation. It's crazy. Like if in your favorite song, say like Silver Springs by Fleetwood Mac, you always get goosebumps right before that last chorus. You don't get it during the last chorus. You're just so excited that something is about to hit. When I knew that you were about to say, sometimes Deej and I will go to some day baseball games during the NHL playoffs, I got chills. Because oh my god,
I think that's
like
flu,
the first
brother.
that's the first non-flu feeling I've had in like 4 days. I'm over here gross, sweating through everything. It's
gross,
disgusting. I fucking hate it. I'm I'm doing sheets every 45 minutes. I hate my life. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use Chaos.
Sick read, bro.
CHAOS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAOS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Instead of going to baseball games this summer, I'm probably going to be playing a ton of golf. And I picked up golf last year. I'm very excited about it. My game still stinks, but I am very excited about this new sponsor that we have because it's PXG, which is a premium golf brand. And let me tell you what, I went out to the PXG store in Framingham, Massachusetts last week, and they got me set up with a brand new driver, the Black Ops driver, which was incredible because, I mean, getting a driver for free is amazing no matter what. But it was especially amazing for me because I've had my driver that I currently use or previously used since high school. It was a 12-year-old driver, and it was the Sumo driver. So if anybody knows, they don't make it anymore, but it was like Tiger Woods' Nike driver.
Pretty sure you're supposed to be 16 years old in order to be a driver.
That's true. But I brought this driver out, and every time I bring the driver out, they're like, holy shit, those things still exist. And I'm just like, yep, it's Old Faithful. I know how to swing it, and I'm sacrificing a lot of distance. But the Black Ops driver that they set me up with, they gave me like a custom fitting. I hit into like the simulator. They like gave me all the parts that I needed to hit as far and as straight as possible. So shout out to my guys, Brandon and Darren at PXG, because it was an incredible experience. So I'm excited to use the Black Ops driver when once the weather gets better and I start hitting the course. It's a breakthrough in driver technology. It's a complete and total victory in the golf club engineering. Unlike anything you've ever seen before. It's adjustable to combine distance and control. So highly recommend getting to a PXG store if you can do it and try out the Black Ops driver challenge. Basically, you just bring your driver to the store and compare it to how you hit against the Black Ops driver and see the results for yourself. So highly recommend. Game Changer has been thrown around so much, it's lost its meaning. But trust me when I tell you the PXG driver is a true game changer. You'll be as impressed with it as I was. Learn more and get the free shipping on all equipment at pxg.com/whatchaos. That's pxg.com/whatchaos for free shipping on all equipment. pxg.com/whatchaos.
You walked in there and they said, "Oh my God, we weren't expecting celebrities today."
That's basically how I was treated when I walked into the place. It was pretty incredible.
But I'm not a celeb. Whoa, you're calling me a celebrity? And they said, no, Simon and Garfunkel must be here because this is a baby driver, is what they said when you went in there. I need to shout out the chat because something really fun is happening, really post 24-hour stream. And I love how the 24-hour trade deadline stream has influenced not only the show, but our listeners. Something's going on where when we're talking about something a little grab-assy, somebody will start to do either the sleepy hockey name thing or whatever. Now it's just become people will make puns on hockey names of whatever we're talking about. So somebody, Fancy Top, said, Matt Rempty Dempty.
Nice.
I love that.
Good.
So if like Pete's talking about golf or drivers or something, start making golf hockey pun names. You see, I got a Kendall Roy shirt on.
Yeah.
Start making some Succession hockey puns.
Bobby Four.
Bobby Four. Whoa.
Fore, of course, not FOUR, which is famously his number.
What about the Green Wings?
Jordan Greenway.
Jordan Greenway.
Jordan
Nice.
Fairway.
Jordan Fairway. That's pretty good too.
I like that.
This is going good. Also, while we're talking about the chat, anybody who's in the chat
Hot
and anybody
nuts.
who's lurking, go ahead and hit that like button right below us. This is like spike time. It's your favorite time of the day. 3, 2, 1. Hit that thumbs up right below the video player. Also, we are very close to hitting 5K on the subs for the YouTube channel. So if you're not subbed already, please do that. Let's get to 5K.
Somebody said golf hockey names. Austin Matthews.
Very good. Did you say what did you say right before Pete started talking? I feel like you had a good pun that got skipped over.
I don't know, and I know that you didn't mean this with disrespect. Pete, did you take that as what were you saying before Pete started doing this?
Yeah, once Pete started fucking yapping.
No, he was.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
he was. That's
You had
not
a
how I
little
meant it.
momentum, and then Pete kind of wrested the ball from you, and then did God knows with it.
That's not how I meant it. It was Pete's turn to talk. You just slipped something in there last second, and I heard it, but I just thought it was good, but I instantly
Drew
forgot.
Dow, you're going to make that putt.
Oh, you said putt nuts. Did you say putt nuts?
Oh yeah, I said
That I liked that. That's what it was.
putt nuts is pretty good. Zach Parise,
It's pretty good.
Patrice Bergeron.
This is
What's
just
the
turning
show
into the
about?
24-hour
Oh,
stream.
You know what a pun is, or like a dad joke. That's what the show's about.
Yeah,
This
right.
show is the progressive commercials of turning into your parents, except we are turning into Gene.
Yes.
Like it's becoming more and more puns. Soon enough, we'll be doing shows in costumes.
God,
the
will I
progressive
take it.
commercials are turning into your parents derogatory. This show is turning into Gene Principe,
Turning into our
endearing.
dad.
Yes.
Endearing, yeah.
Also, I've got a conspiracy theory that people in the chat are holding their likes until the like spike, which I don't dislike.
They 100% are.
They
People have
100%
said so
are.
much,
Yeah, a lot of people enter in the chat and say, did I miss the like spike?" And the numbers always jump like crazy. And
Yeah.
I don't think it's just because I asked for the like spike. I think it's people wanting to participate in the like spike.
Yes, 100%.
And I dig it.
Boy, oh boy.
I do want to talk about. We talked about the negative from Saturday's action, which was the Buffalo Sabres game, starting our day off on a horrible note. But that day of hockey ended on an incredible note because we got the Edmonton Oilers and the Colorado Avalanche on the night slate. And there was some discourse around the 10 p.m. start time on Saturday night, which I do want to talk about in a bit. But the game itself was fucking incredible and lived up to the hype that I think a lot of people set for it.
Sometimes something I'm watching or listening to is so good I have to like throw the headphones off or just like look away the TV. Like truly, like it's such a good game that something is coming over me. And again, I was probably had like a 200-degree fever, but I loved that game so much I couldn't fucking stand it. And
Yeah, that game to me. That
Go
game to
ahead.
me is like why we podcast the game instead of why we play the game. That game to me was everything that I wanted from a hockey game.
What did we first? I feel the first time we said that this year, it was about probably an Oilers. Oh, it was probably about the first Oilers Bruins game.
Or like the Oil Shark Bowl.
Basically, if the Oilers do anything exciting, we are very, very happy. That was a great game. It was a tough game. It was a low-scoring game. Great goaltending from both sides. Congratulations, Alex Georgiev. You won a game. Deserve it, all-star. Oh my God. It had the fixins of Zach Hyman having to deal with the adversity that he faces. In all this Hyman stuff, we haven't even talked about, he has scored like 60 goals this year.
Yeah. He definitely leads the league in disallowed goals, which I love that you called it adversity because normally they get it right. I think they've got it wrong like one or two times, but normally they get it right. And your adversity is just Zach Hyman doing illegal shit.
It's just you're cheating and you get caught cheating.
The goal that was disallowed on Saturday night was so fucking obvious. He booted that thing into the back of the net.
The adversity the Patriots have faced over the years has been crazy. And for them to still win titles in spite of all the adversity really shows their championship pedigree. Can we talk about? Go ahead.
I was gonna say like it did have everything. Like it had overtime. It had a penalty shot. It had a fight, a really good fight.
Real fight.
And, yeah, good fight. And I was tweeting about it like crazy on Saturday night, and I was like, "This game is everything. This game is changing my life. It's everything I want." And I had a lot of people responding, and this happens quite a bit when you're talking about a low-scoring game as like being in the game of the year discussion. People were like, "I figured I would tune in. This game would be like 6-5. It'd be crazy." You're talking about a 1-1 game. Yes. A game does not need to have like a 5-4 scoreline, 6-5 scoreline to be a good hockey game. That was as entertaining a 1-1 game as you'll find.
One of the greatest playoff games, I think most would agree, is Game 7, 2011 Eastern Conference Final. To go to the Cup, guys are breaking their faces. Steven Stamkos breaking his face, having to come back in the game. No penalties. 0-0 the whole way. It takes a set play to score one goal, and that's the game. That was incredible.
Perfect game.
I am outspoken in my hatred of fights and goals and saves and anything that gets in the way of just gameplay. I want action. And that's what these guys were bringing on Saturday night. It was a great game. Let's talk about the final goal, where 1 second left, puck in the corner, McKinnon to who did he feed?
Arturi Lehkonen.
Yep. Lehkonen scores the game winner on Skinner, who'd had a great game with half a second left. Incredible ending to the game. I was mad as an Oilers fan, of course. All otherworldly play from McKinnon. He's the best. Amazing. That said, Evan Bouchard, light asshole watch.
I would say Bouchard and Draisaitl both on light asshole watch. Draisaitl was coasting and not covering Lehkonen as best he could. I don't necessarily blame him for not seeing that incredible play coming from McKinnon, but you gotta like Nathan McKinnon is capable of anything at any second. Doesn't matter if there's 2 seconds left on the clock, he can still make the play, and he made the damn play.
It's like the Skinner save on Ovechkin last week, where it was like, the highlight by far is that was the most incredible save you've ever seen. Amazing. Also, Ovechkin, why don't you shoot it to the left a little bit?
Yeah.
then you'll score a goal. In this case, I think Draisaitl thought the game was over, which
or overtime was over. Yeah.
Can't do that. Yeah, right. I'm sorry. He thought that the period was over. In the case of Bouchard, I know that in overtime, you're probably not throwing the body around a lot because you need to be able to respond and everything, but the puck is going into the corner. The only thing with a second left, the only thing that matters is just the puck doesn't get out of the corner. It's so easy. Just pin him, rub him out, and bang. You go and you go to a shootout where you have a million amazing goal scorers.
Even if you don't want to pin him, that's obviously the easy choice there is to staple him to the boards and not let the puck get out. Like, at least get your stick in there. At least get your stick somewhere near the puck. He just coasted into the corner, and like he just assumed that McKinnon would like not try to make a play there. It's crazy. That was a tough sequence for them to end the game on, but also an incredible play from Nate.
You know what's wild, though? We're at a point in the season where, like, that didn't cost the Oilers anything. Like, it doesn't matter.
I know. But
like, they're
still
so set that in a massive game, or what should be a massive game on March 16th or whatever against the Colorado Avalanche, you kind of piss a game away in the final second. You're like,
yeah, we'll get him next time. They literally can get him next time because that was the first time that the Colorado Avalanche and Edmonton Oilers have met this season, which is crazy. And it also bums me out that both of those teams' last game of the season is against each other. That feels like such a wasted bullet. Game 82 with the Avs and the Oilers, like, I assume they're not going to have like a ton to play for. Maybe they'll have like a little bit of playoff positioning to play for. But like, give me 3 of those games in the middle towards like last quarter of the season, not on the last day. Feels like kind of a waste.
The chat is requesting we continue to tell Alex Ovechkin how to score goals. And to that I say, of course, we shall do that. Someone's got to do it. I mean, he could have more goals if he
definitely could. I mean,
So
he takes a lot of shots. He could always have more goals. Just
So
put it
that's
where he ain't.
that's a change I would make to Alexander Ovechkin's game. But what about changes to our beautiful game? Because happy GM meetings, Pete, in Florida, the GMs are going to meet. It's this big thing where they all get together. They meet. They say, it's good to see ya. They eat from the movie Moneyball. They eat peanuts together. They
Mhm.
try to swing trades. There's a man in the corner who says, hey, don't make that trade. And then Brad Pitt says, I'm going to buy that guy, buys him, and then pisses off.
Problematic.
Yeah. Yes. It's bad behavior.
Mhm.
And then pisses off our guy, who's the late Philip Seymour Hoffman. Great
True.
movie.
Yeah.
I rewatched it while sick. But GM meetings are happening now-ish, and things that will be discussed per the insiders. I'm talking about your Pierre LeBruns, your Darren Dragers, your Chris Johnsons, Department of Player Safety, as always. But they're saying that this year, George Paros's presentation will be more expansive. I think that that's just teams always wanting to know as much as they can about the thought process between why this gets 1 game, why this other one gets 5 games. That's not super interesting. We don't do hit chat here. LTIR, which was addressed 2 years ago. They didn't change anything, but they are going to discuss LTIR, which you've seen teams over the years, famously Blackhawks, Lightning. Now it's the Vegas Golden Knights who do it a lot, which is they put players on long-term injured reserve. They can go over the cap by that player's cap hit. And then once the playoffs begin, there is no salary cap, so they can bring those players back, be quote-unquote over the cap and go for it. They added a bunch of money at the trade deadline this year with Mark Stone on IR. Last year they did this as well. And I don't know, do you want to break that down, or do you want to keep going down the list of things?
Well, I mean, like the LTIR discussion, it's kind of useless, isn't it? Because they're not going to be able to make significant changes to that structure until the CBA, which
Right.
is up in 2026. So
Yeah.
like I wouldn't expect much to happen in that regard, and nor do I think that like a lot needs to happen. Maybe you can fine tune it. I think that I think Ken Holland was the one who said that like you should have like a playoff salary cap or like playoff kind of money, a pool of money, and it goes like you pull from that during a playoff run, and if you go over, it like turns into bonus overages the next year or something like that, which I don't think is the worst idea, but I also don't think that this is necessarily something that needs to be outright fixed, especially like immediately.
I agree. And it's something that every team can do. I think it was Pierre LeBrun who noted nobody thinks that these teams are cheating when they do this. Like none of the GMs are, maybe they're upset about it if they end up going up against one of these juggernauts, but they're all on, they all understand no one here is cheating. I hope that doesn't change. I also hope that teams aren't thinking about, do I play this guy or this guy based on money in a playoff game? That would be really, really annoying.
Right.
And it would also be a stupid excuse too. Like teams could hide behind, oh, well, we made this bad decision because it was a cap thing or whatever. Just like play your best rosters. It's so hard to win the Stanley Cup. Don't let money be an object. Pierre LeBrun says he doesn't think that there will be changes to 3-on-3. The thing that they could implement and that we've talked about is basically a reverse shot clock where you can only go back in your own zone for so long. You got to bring the ball up the court, so to speak, stop regrouping. It gets rid of the back and forth of 3-on-3 that I think we love. What do you want there?
I don't think it's broken. Another thing with like LTIR, don't think it's broken. Don't think it needs any changes. Would be like a little interested to see them play around with the back court, but only if it is, like you said, kind of like an expiring shot clock where it's like you can't be in your own end for more than 3 to 5 seconds or something like that. But again, like I think 3-on-3 is not a broken product.
I had that distinct thought during the Avs-Oilers game. I was watching it, and I was just like, imagine watching this and thinking this is something that needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
No,
Yeah,
it's not broken.
The change to 3-on-3 is make the teams be awesome. Make them chopper in the Oilers and the Avalanche, which I don't know if did you guys see the like presentation for the Oilers puck drop?
I did, yes, and you're the one you're talking about, the one where they have like a military chopper land on the roof of the arena. They have
What?
like a couple guys who look like they're Secret Service sprinting down 14 flights of stairs, and they show you them sprinting down all 14 flights. It's just so much time of watching people run downstairs, and then they deliver like the puck to the center ice and drop it for like military appreciation. I saw that like a month and a half ago, and I was like, oh, this is fucking wild. This must be like a real like one-off, once a year kind of deal. No, apparently they do that pretty frequently because they did it again over the weekend.
Okay,
The helicopter isn't live, I'm assuming, right? Like they're not.
No, it's pre-recorded, but
Okay.
then they play that video into
Kinda like
like
what the
the
Knights do.
military people like bringing the puck out. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, I love the Oilers. That needs to only be shot once. And you want to do it every game, that's fine, but just don't tell me that you're using a whole ass helicopter. Like if this were a US team, fans would revolt. They'd be like, this is why the planet is burning. Because
I just also wouldn't like being in an arena, and the idea of a helicopter landing on the roof makes me uncomfortable. Like it doesn't seem like something that's built to have helicopters landing on top of it.
helicopters freak me out. I can't go to music
same.
festivals
I'll never
anymore.
get in a helicopter.
That's Taylor Swift every time she orders DoorDash. It's a helicopter landing on the roof and her running down 14 flights of stairs.
Well, her paying somebody to run down 14 flights of stairs.
I could see Taylor Swift being.
Did you see?
I mean, she got to stay in shape for that
True.
Eras tour.
Yeah.
Did you see all respect, or the appropriate amount of respect to Taylor Swift and to her lovely fans, of which Pete and I are Taylor Swift fans, sure. Did you see that there is a Taylor's version of the Eras Tour concert?
It's the one that's hitting Disney Plus, or it's
So-
already on Disney Plus. And I hope you're going where I'm going to go right now. Is like, why are we doing the Taylor's version for things that you owned always?
So
like
at this
nobody
point,
ever tried to take the Eras Tour away from you. It's kind of ruining the Taylor's version add-on.
at this point, Taylor's version unabashedly means I'm just making you buy something twice.
Yes,
Which is sneaky what it's always been. But
Yeah.
this is some like real crook shit. And not only is it crook shit, it is so offensive to these willing captive listeners who are going to buy it twice.
The only way that I would like push back on that is like you don't have to buy it on Disney Plus. It comes with the Disney Plus subscription, so it's not like she's like milking more money out of her fans more than like the Disney Plus subscription.
She's taking it from the mouse.
She's taking it from the mouse. Yeah.
Don't do that.
It's just totally unnecessary. The entire purpose of the Taylor's version tag was to be like, hey, listen to this one so that Scooter Braun doesn't take money away from me.
And then it turned out to be, hey, no, actually buy a physical version of this one,
Yeah.
even though you bought that already years ago before Scooter Braun was making any money off of it. Now, instead of making, let's say, 30% off it, which is what I made in the first place, whatever that would be, 50%, something like that. Now I'm making 100 plus that. It is some crook shit. Okay, so
I was going to say, so if we're not changing, if we don't feel a pressing need to change the two things that have been addressed or brought up with the GM meetings, is there anything that you would put at the top of your docket?
yes, very much at the top of my docket. We got to reopen the case on Pride Nights / specialty cause nights. And here's what I'm doing. One, some folks aren't going to like this. Wear the fucking jersey. Play the game in the fucking jersey. And we will have specific weekends. So let's say middle of February, we do Black History Night weekend. Every day for me is Black History everything. Okay.
What an ally.
Thank you for
what
the
a
support.
hero.
That's John. I got you. Okay. All right. So that's for you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
No. So let's say it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday is Black History Observation. Every team has a Black History jersey and they wear it that weekend. And that weekend, every team plays. For that weekend, we see all those jerseys. It's not going to be scattered and spread out throughout. I don't want this to be something that people can lose track of. I want it to be, oh, hell yeah. They're all wearing we got the jerseys this weekend. And so every team's got to be creative, come up with these cool things that they are going to wear and they're going to sell. I would like teams to do it for Black History. I would like them to do it for Pride. I think that whatever other causes you want to bring up, submit for inclusivity's sake, do it. And we will have specific weekends where every team plays, every team makes a jersey, they wear it, and they sell it. Thank you to the chat. I am not a hero.
I
John?
No,
I
just don't want to see it.
I think I agree with Pete. I don't know exactly where he's going, but I think I agree with Pete.
I don't want to see like too many specialty jersey nights in terms of like too many one-offs. Like,
so you agree with me?
The
then.
thing that
That's
bothers me the most. What?
So you agree? That's what I'm trying to avoid. You do it specific weekends where everyone is doing. Now is your like every team has their Pride night that
I think
weekend.
he means more on like a team by team basis, right?
So
like
my idea would be more like give teams like 2 or 3 tickets per year where they can use the ticket for a specialty one-off jersey night. Like think about the Blues Kings game where they did like the Gretzky jersey match.
I've seen a lot of that with that and the Leafs where people are like, oh, so you can wear specialty jerseys.
Yeah, right. But that's different though because those are like actual team jerseys.
I agree. I don't think it's the same, but I've seen a lot of people say
But like if you want to give like 3 to 5 like one-off tickets to teams to use one-off jerseys on any given night, whether it is like a Gretzky throwback night where you don't want to necessarily bring a jersey back into full rotation, but you want to wear it one time a season, use the ticket. If you want to make like a specialty jersey that you actually wear during that game, use the ticket. You get 3 to 5 per year per team. I think that might be a good idea to throw something in the mix. I just don't want to see it turn into like what the NBA is right now, where you turn on an NBA game and you don't fucking know who's playing because they have no consistency with their jerseys. That bothers me.
Drives me
no
fucking
end.
insane. Especially like the Suns, they have last year they had their third jerseys that were teal and orange. Turn it on, that instantly looks like an Oklahoma City Thunder
NBA
game.
teams are just completely losing their identities because they just wear so many different jerseys.
And and the NBA I think is a little unique because it's so fucking like cool in a way where it's just like you can kind of get away with it. I have long said that I think the NHL kind of 4D chess their way out of the jersey problem because like there's part of me that thinks making the Pride jerseys, like going back to wearing them, it opens up problems that you don't need and creates more harm. Because like the reason they got rid of it, at least my conspiracy theory behind why they got rid of it or why they changed the rules is that they're now in a situation where they only create heroes. They don't create bad guys. In when people wore them, they had people opting out of it for a variety of bullshit reasons, obviously, and it made people into villains. Now they're in a situation where the only villain is the NHL for having this rule, and now anytime someone tries to break it, those people are made to look like heroes. I think if you go back to wearing the Pride jerseys, you create harm by having people opting out of it and making it like a weird kind of not safe space for the people that those jerseys are supposed to be for. I don't know. I understand why people do want to wear it, but I have a hard time seeing them go backwards on something like this.
I was watching a show called The Sopranos, and Tony needed his son Anthony to pack a bag because Uncle Bobby, spoilers, had just been shot. Sil was in the hospital. They needed to get out of there. They needed to go into hiding. And Anthony Jr. was going through a tough way. He was going through a tough time. He was moving slow. He was upset. He was
not eating ziti.
Yep. And Tony said, basically, you're going to pack this fucking bag, man. I think that we needed a Tony Soprano type to get people to wear the jerseys. But generally, that's what I'm also trying to avoid the what does that jersey mean? What are they doing? What team is on the ice kind of thing. That's why I'm trying to have it happen during a set time. It's this weekend. It's that weekend. Every team does it. And it might mean that certain teams don't have home pride games or Black History games that season, but they could still do like a Black History night. They just wouldn't all be wearing the jerseys that day because they wore it a different day.
I like the idea of having
crazy,
like
by the way, on ally puns.
Yeah, I saw that. I like the idea of like having like a kind of players weekend kind of deal.
I love that. I loved when baseball did that.
When baseball did like the players weekend stuff, that was super cool. They could use like the equipment that they wanted to use, all that kind of stuff. I would prefer to see like equipment changes made with the GM meetings as opposed to like the jersey changes.
Mirrored visors,
tinted visors. By the way, what is going on?
What is going on?
Who's asking for this with tinted visors? What is going on? Because I'm seeing more and more guys have a light tint on their visors across the league, and I don't know when that started coming back, but like PLD has it. Like a number of other guys, like Anze Kopitar, I know has it too, with like a light tint, and I don't know if it's like a medical exemption or something like that. Because I know that a year or two ago, I saw somebody with like a blue tint visor. I want to say it was like Alex Wenberg or something, who had a blue tint on his visor, and it was for concussion reasons because of like the blue light or whatever.
And the Democratic Party wants this.
I feel like the NHL is because they like with the Pride tape, they kind of started setting a little bit of an example of like we're just not really going to enforce these rules. So I feel like people are slowly going to be pushing the limits of what the NHL is going to allow. I did want to say I personally dislike the idea of having thing on a night because I think if you have it spread out, you kind of have to keep getting reminded of this shit as opposed to being like, here's the weekend for the black people and you get your weekend and now we're not going to talk about you again. I feel like that's kind of what would end up happening is it all gets, as opposed to like it being, especially with the pride jerseys, because I feel like they get spread out throughout the year and it becomes more fun to talk about that way.
Rupe Tints is a great one.
Shane
That's
Tinto.
Great.
Shane
Tinto. Hell yes. Also, like the other changes I want are like not exciting to a listener because they probably heard it a million times. But like the 3-2-1 point system, the timed offside reviews, whether you're talking about time that the officials can review it or whether you're talking about time from the zone entry, like 30 seconds. If there's a goal 30 seconds after a zone entry, you can't call it back for an offside. Fuck that. That kind of stuff. I think absolutely needs to get thrown in the mix. I don't think that it's going to happen, but 3-2-1 point system, how are we not doing that? Also, if we're talking about the stuff that the PWHL is doing, that rule for the draft lottery, would love to see that instated.
I like the power kill.
The power kill, yep, where if you score on the PK, the penalty's over.
Yeah, the anti-tanking system. Get rid of the trapezoid, all of that fun stuff. I mean, this is not an original take. I hate the playoff setup. Just make it the 8 best teams in each conference. I hate the divisional playoff setup.
Talking about playoff setup, what's your stance on expanding the playoff field? No?
I think it should be 16 teams.
You said no? All right, we're all firm no's on that.
Yep.
I think if we expanded the playoff field, we're talking about like wanting the East right now to have 6 teams basically in the playoffs rather than 8, and we want to expand the playoff field.
What would they do? Make it 10 with buys?
I would
or something
assume that
like
there'd be like a play-in.
I will say I think I might have been anti it when it first started. I love the NBA play-in like tournament. I think it's a lot of fun. It becomes interesting, and once you get to the bottom, especially in a sport like hockey where you've seen 8 seeds upset 1 seeds, like I think there is some interest in having a little play-in. I would be interested in as opposed to like a downright expansion of the playoffs.
NBA is different though, and I guess MLB too. Well, I don't like the MLB mainly because it's a 162 game season. Then you're coming down to 1 game, but I also like it is kind of electric.
Not anymore.
But like if you throw at least like MLB, you can throw your ace against the other team's ace in a 1-game playoff, and you've got it's less random than hockey. Having an 82-game season come down to 1 game in hockey to decide a playoff spot, which I know it kind of happens anyway with the regular season, but if you're talking about a play-in game, hockey's so random.
Well,
to
yeah.
have it ever come down to like a 1-game series.
It would have to be so like baseball doesn't do the 1-game thing anymore. It's like the wild cards is a 3-game series now, and I would definitely have to be something like that. I don't think you can have. I also hate the idea of a season just being ended by 1 game. So yeah.
We have
absolutely no way in expanding the playoff field for me.
We have Alex 3-2-1berg, 3-2-1 Braden Point, 3-2-1 point system Stutzla, and Martin LaPointe system.
Owen power kill.
Nice.
What did Deline suggest with us? Was he saying the power kill?
Yes, I think he brought
Right.
or no, he said that power play should continue even if you score.
Oh,
He said it should be a full
treat
2
every
minutes, no
power
matter
play
what.
like it's like a 5-minute measure where you can score as many times as you
Yeah.
want.
Oh, right.
And then I think we brought up the penalty kill, and he liked
I don't
that as
think
well.
I'm into that.
I remember I pushed back and gave him the hypothetical of, all right, so you take a double minor, you're really going to sit there while your team allows 10 goals and think this is a cool rule? And he was like, yeah.
I don't know. It kind of aligns with my view on like the world. You did something wrong, you got to deal with the punishment.
I think
even if that's giving up 5 goals in 2 minutes.
That take is an indictment on Rasmus Dahlin. As much as I love him,
Yeah.
too offensively minded.
Well, I was gonna say it makes sense for a power play quarterback like him, where he's just
right.
like, I want to be out there and I want to be just ripping slap shots for 2 straight minutes.
I did see Bowen Byram being in absolute awe of Rasmus Dahlin's conditioning over the weekend. He was mic'd up and talking to Tage on the bench and was like, yo, Dahlin does not breathe hard. He does not break a sweat. It's crazy. And Tage on the bench, this was a mic'd up conversation on the bench, and it was fascinating. Tage was like, yeah, man, during preseason when we have our conditioning tests, everybody does the bike session and they're on the ground for 15 minutes trying to recover because they're dead. And Dahlin just hops off and like skips around, and he always wins.
I mean, he said a great sign for Zach Benson, first off. Secondly, I mean, he said in our interview with him, which if you haven't seen, go watch it on our YouTube page, that like he made like a big change in all of that, right? Like he was eating McDonald's every day when he first got in the league. And I've said before, I have sources in the city of Buffalo, like he goes out and he doesn't drink.
Yeah,
he just drinks water. Like he's different.
That's becoming more of a thing in the NHL. Pete, like Spike when?
I already had one. We
didn't.
We already
Yes,
had
did.
one. We
We
had a
did.
like spike.
Immediately
We'll do a
after
second one.
After our ad reads.
Secondary like spike. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Secondary like spike. If you haven't like it now.
It's not showing up on my YouTube. Did you do it during the ad reads?
I did it right after the ad read. Yeah, we did a little housekeeping.
All right. Well,
Do you have 3 stars? Because I have a couple 3 stars that I just wanted to quickly highlight.
yeah, we got real 3 stars. There's a Russian goalie who set the pro record with a 124 save shutout, and I gotta say, this was in a quintuple overtime loss. I assumed it was so it was a shutout loss, I should say. He allowed 1 goal. I saw it was 1-0. He made 124 saves, and I was like, that must be the best game of that guy's life. Nope. It was a loss. Not only was it a loss, and this was excuse me, SKA Neva St. Petersburg in the VHL. They're playing against
number 2 pro league in Russia. So it's nothing to shake your head at, not like a low level league.
Yes. These are real pros. Not only was it a loss, it was a quintuple overtime loss that marked his team being swept. Their season is over. They got swept and lost, and he had a 124 save shutout. So shout out Artemi Pleshkov. That sucks for you, brother. But
It sure does.
Looks like you played great.
I'm demanding a trade. I'm fighting every single defenseman on my team, and then I'm demanding a trade.
Sean, I just sent you the tweet. Can we show that on screen? Because the face of this guy looks like the face of a man who
Yes.
just made 124 saves and
And
lost
still- and got
to end his
swept.
season. He looks fucking miserable. Hilarious.
Artemi
that-
Pleshkov season.
That poor guy.
So let me give you a quick rundown. He saved 14 of 14 shots in the first, 15 of 15 in the second, 10 of 10 in the third, 11 of 11 in OT, 17 of 17 in double overtime, 19 of 19 in triple overtime, 18 of 18 in quadruple overtime, and 20 of 21 in quintuple overtime. This guy made at least 10 saves or faced at least 10 shots and stopped them all in every period.
And
My
he looks
poor
so
sad
sad.
king.
He
Can we
looks
get some
so
horses
sad.
to put this man together again?
Also, this
What a bummer.
like looking at this picture, the jersey looks like a New York Islanders jersey
does.
made by AI. Like that logo in the middle looks like it just not centered or anything and looks just kind of made up.
Also, can somebody get my man some chapstick? His lips are very
Ooh,
dry.
true.
It's
He-
probably
he'd
because
over
he's
here.
faced 124 shots.
Yeah.
Oh
he
my
needs
god.
some- he
1-0. 1-0 too is so tough.
Some Lucozade, whatever they would have in Russia. But let's hydrate this man. Wayne Simmons also retiring. Rajon Rondo voice. Thought he'd been retired. But boy, what a player. What a career. Basically like
Yeah.
a right side Milan Lucic.
Yeah. I love Wade Simmons, unbelievable player.
Sabres legend.
Sabres legend, that's right. Absolute king. Also, Sean pointed out in his press conference today,
Stud.
he was just like filming from his phone on a beach, wearing sunglasses, just living
gold
the goddamn
chains,
life.
sunglasses, palm trees behind them, not giving a single fuck.
What a legend.
Amazing.
Also, like how does it count as a shutout when you lose 1-0?
Yeah, that's what I was getting a little confused about. We kept
I don't care if
saying
it goes into
shutout.
quadruple overtime. If you give up a goal, it's not a shutout.
Oh, no,
Agreed.
no. I fucked up by saying shut. It was a
Oh.
shutout loss. I fucked that up.
Okay, sorry.
His
yeah.
team got shut out. Yeah. You know what? Although that does sound kind of Pedro Martinez-y. He threw a
With the,
perfect game.
Perfect game, yeah.
He threw a perfect game and lost in extra innings. Do you know
It's
this?
not a perfect
Sean?
game. It's not a
Oh
perfect
yeah, I
game.
didn't know that. Yeah, I agree. That's
I
not a
remember as a
perfect game.
kid being like, and he wasn't on the Red Sox yet, but I remember being like, and this goes against me because I'm a stickler, but I was like, he fight 27 up, 27 down. His team's an asshole if they don't score runs for him. Give him a perfect game, but it wasn't a perfect game.
Wait,
Not a
how
perfect
did
game.
you feel about Madison Bumgarner's
No,
7-inning?
doesn't count.
No,
Doesn't count.
No way.
I
No
agree.
way.
I think. I mean, it's like impressive, but it's,
It's
not
impressive,
like it's
but you know
not
how
a
many-
no hitter.
You know, how many- you can't like retroactively go back and give no hitters to guys who threw 7.
Yeah, I mean,
no-hit
I
innings.
mean,
you can't AI generate the rest of the game. That's what you're doing.
The devil's advocate would say he only had an opportunity to down what would it be 21 hitters, and he did it. But
Sure, but it's not. It's below the minimum threshold.
what if he
to
had
me.
thrown a perfect 7 innings? Because it is a perfect. Like he threw a perfect game.
Yeah, but it's
You get the
there-
participation
the
trophy,
minimum
like the
is
lid
has to be
he is.
9 innings. It
Total
has to be
cuck
9 innings.
behavior. In my day,
9+
men were
innings.
men and threw 9.
What if a guy
perfect
what if a guy
games.
threw 8 2/3 perfect, and then God just is like opens up the I don't know what I was trying to say. Just it starts raining
God hates him.
and
It's not.
Yeah.
It's
it
not
gets
my
rained
fault.
out.
God hates him.
Bad
It's
behavior
not a
from
perfect
God.
game.
If
I don't care.
know. I
but
think if we're looking at a guy with 8 2/3 pitched, it's like 3-2, and then lightning strikes him dead in the middle of the thing, and they call the game.
Close, but
That
no
man
cigar.
died throwing a perfect game, in my opinion. But
Mike
Well-
Mussina could have used it. Could have used God on his side at that game against the Red Sox forever ago when Carl Everett ruined his perfect game. One of my 3 stars is Sean Walker. Sean Walker, 2 goals on Saturday night. Has a trade or like a series of trades ever worked out for both sides as much as it's working out between the Colorado Avalanche and Buffalo Sabres? Because Bowen Byram's awesome in Buffalo. Casey Middlestat is awesome in Colorado. And Sean Walker has been awesome in Colorado as well. Sean Walker, I think, is going to be one of those guys who this playoff run makes a lot of people recognize Sean Walker and puts respect on his name.
Yeah, he's good. And then you got the Flyers, who are hanging on by a thread, but they're still in playoff position. So win, 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 win. You will not be able to say win, 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 win about tonight's slate grade because only 4 teams are playing, and
They
they
can't all
can't win 7 times or however many times I just said win. There are 2 games this evening. This is a slate grade presented by Game Time. 8:30 p.m. US. You got the Capitals at the Flames. Some playoff implications there. Capitals, I don't want to say they're becoming a darling of this show, but in some like weird schadenfreude way, I think them lingering teases us a bit. 10 p.m. US, you got the Sabres at the Kraken. Sabres need every point they can get. It's important. Look, this is a light slate. It's a lean slate, but I'm interested in watching both of these games, even if I'm kind of done watching the Flames this season, if we're being completely honest, and I don't enjoy watching the Capitals this season. What does that mean? I'm probably not going to watch the first game. But all that told, I think it's a fine structure. It's tough when you only got 2 games. I would probably go personally with a 7 and a 9 if I had 2 games, but they're going 8:30 p.m. US and 10 p.m. US. I'm giving this an A-.
Yeah, seems like a deserving A-. A little bummed, 2 games on the schedule, but like you mentioned, we got to care about the Capitals now. we've been pushed into a corner where we got to care about the Capitals. I think both games could be interesting, so I'm not going to complain.
And the slates are going to be heating up. So while today is an A-, who knows what's coming? It's been a while since we've had an A
or an A-. Yeah.
It's been a while since we've had an A. We're on a deep run of A-, so much so without having to explain slate grades. I think a lot of the listeners think that all of them are A-. Sometimes they're A's. It's just that they've been A- for a very, very long time. Tomorrow, I hope to be back. We're supposed to have a guest tomorrow. If I'm not back in studio, we'll probably have to postpone them because it's not fun doing remote when people are in 3 different places. But pray for my health. We will be back with you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.
We all silly like the mayor.